Yesterday, via audio recording, I talked about the fact that on June 25th next month, MeTV, part of the WBC, the Wagler Broadcasting Corporation, is going to be launching a new over-the-air network, which is going to be 24/7 dedicated to cartoons, animation, history of animation. And I gave my thoughts, on it, and I stick by those thoughts. I feel this is a great move, and it shows that animation still has a stronghold in media. It still has a stronghold, in media, and that a lot of people my age, if not older, from my generation, and even previous generations and generations that came after, it shows that they love cartoons. And mostly what really helped apparently was the 2 to 3 hour block that they dedicated to cartoons on Saturday morning, the Bugs Bunny and Friends and the Popeye and Friends. And to me, even though that's about 2 to 3 hours, that shows me, and I think that shows the world, that Saturday morning cartoons on broadcast television, if not syndicated over-the-air television, still has a thriving audience. I mean, I get, why, a lot of networks, foreclosed on Saturday morning cartoons. I mean, obviously with the pressure of the FCC and wanting to make it more educational and stuff, I get that kind of, brought things down. I do. I also understand with the rise of more cable networks dedicated to animation and in streaming platforms and all that, it didn't really help. It didn't really help in the long run. But as we've been noticing, it seems that what people felt would be the future is starting to become more of a hindrance. Now, if you plan it out subscription-wise, like when you're going to pay and everything, like when you basically begin your subscription, then you should be fine. You should be absolutely fine. I mean, I get this is why a lot of people would rather go with the annual memberships or subscriptions, so that way they only pay once a year. They don't have to worry about, this or that, every month. But to me, if you go every month, it's a little bit better because, you'll have money left over. You will, believe it or not. Because if you go annually, yeah, you save money in the long run throughout the year until you get to that month where you have to pay that annual fee. And let's say it's a month where you have other things you need to take care of, So it's kind of a very conflicting, like back and forth effect of like, what membership, should you choose to, enjoy the content you want. It's kind of one of those conflicting situations. But it shows, though, with that confliction going on, that not only is cable back on the rise, but so is broadcast and over-the-air television. Which is why when you hear reports like, the fourth quarter, returns and earnings that, MeTV got with their Tune In With Me weekday morning show and their Saturday morning shows of Bugs Bunny and Friends and Popeye and Friends, when you hear that, they basically outperformed, the likes of Seinfeld and The Office on Comedy Central, those reruns. When you hear that it outperformed, reruns on USA of the original Law and Order, and even some of its successors. And then you also hear that it outperformed Friends of all shows in reruns, on Nick at Night. To hear that it outperformed those, nostalgic, blocks, if you will, of programming, again, it's definitely a sign that it still has a thriving audience. And now with, the rise of streaming, bills and the rise of, you know, a bit of cable at times, you know, it definitely shows that maybe a return to the old format of how things were done, you know, is a, you know, stronger possibility than it's ever been. You know, and I stand by what I said in the audio video. I truly believe that the broadcast networks of NBC, CBS, who's in a way contributing to this, and, you know, ABC, and even to an extent Fox, you know, I stand by what I believe. Even CW as well. You know, I strongly believe that those networks are going to see this. You know, they're going to see this happening. They're going to hear as to why it's happening if they haven't already. And they might see it successfully thrive upon its debut. And I'm not going to be shocked if in the near future you hear, you know, you hear the news of ABC, CBS, ABC, you know, NBC, I should say NBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, you know, Fox, CW. I would not be surprised that over time you hear them maybe deciding to go back to what brought them to the dance on Saturday mornings. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if you hear them say, yeah, you know, we're going to go back to the Saturday morning cartoon block. I would not be surprised by that. And the reason I say that, again, is because I believe they're going to see, you know, how this is going to thrive. You know, they're going to see how it's going to grow. Because outside of what is listed, you know, for its debut, there's more to come. You know, there's much more to come than I think any of us could imagine. I mean, you look at the fact that you got a show like what I grew up on, Silverhawks, you know, coming on and being part of this. To me, that's just an indication that we're not just going to get Silverhawks. We're going to get the likes of the original Thundercats and maybe even Thundercats 2000. That's what I feel we're going to have. You know, and to me, this is nothing more than a positive. It is a plus in the long run. It definitely is. It's a plus, you know, and a positive in the long run. Now, I know some people might doubt it and say, well, they're only doing this because they had a successful fourth quarter, but it doesn't mean this idea is going to succeed, and, you know, it might not even last as long as what they're promoting it as. And look, I understand people might feel that way. They might feel that way, but obviously they realize now why there is an audience still of Generation Xers like me, Generation Zers like those after me, Generation Yers, if you will, that still love animation. I mean, there are times I go to my older sisters and one of the things she'll have on will be Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon, just for the heck of it. You know, she won't even have her grandkid there, her granddaughter there, or grandson. You know, she'll just have it on, you know, because she likes watching cartoons. And she's 4 years older than me. 4 years older, or 3 years, 1 month older. But the point I'm getting at is even she, you know, still enjoys animation, even if it's today or yesteryear. So, you know, her being close to 50 within a year, if that doesn't tell you that the demo is true to what it says, because they said they based off their success of, you know, their Saturday morning, you know, 2-hour, 3-hour block, beating out the likes of Seinfeld and The Office reruns on Comedy Central, Friends reruns on Nick at Night, you know, Law and Order reruns, you know, on USA. If it doesn't tell you that the demo of 25 to 54 years old, you know, rather watch Saturday morning cartoons over that, you know, I don't know what does. And to me, this is, like I said in the audio video, this is just the beginning. This is just the starting point of what will be. of what will, become a trend. Because again, I firmly believe it may not be next year, it may not be in the next several months, but I guarantee very soon you're going to have the likes of ABC, you're going to have the likes of CBS, NBC, Fox, CW. You're going to have them coming out and saying, hey, we want to, get back into the Saturday morning cartoon business. I guarantee you that's going to happen. Because as the old saying goes, what's old is new again. And Saturday morning cartoons, years ago may have been looked at as old and out of style and no longer popular. Well, guess what? It's because of that Saturday morning block that beat out those other shows that I mentioned, that it seems that Saturday mornings, as I had a feeling when I first talked about the Tune In With Me deal that they were doing, and I first talked about the Saturday morning thing they were doing, I said in some context that something like this was going to happen, and it has. And to me, what they're doing is they're operating off that saying, that formulaic saying of what's old is new again. So to me, I think this is a great move. They said it best. This is basically going to be Cartoon Network Boomerang, when they first started, but on steroids. And to me, that's a good analogy. And I can't wait to see what they have to offer outside of what's being advertised. But let me know what your thoughts are. And until then, I'm out.